This video will cover the app I made called 6Shooter. If you want to play it first without spoilers, the link to it is in the description. It's free and will only take 15 minutes. If not, then let's get started. I wanted to start a short project and make something new after spending so long working on Hue Trials. I decided to go very basic, and essentially make a time press game. What I came up with was using the Tap Now mechanic to draw and fire a gun in a Western duel. To save me asset making and art learning time, I went with a very low pixel count style. It looks better on a smaller screen, so if you're watching this on a desktop, sorry about how low quality it is. The feeling of the draw and firing is the focal point of the game. I made a flickering draw animation to deliver the intensity of the situation. And the death animations after firing stand out because they are more complex than the other animations in the game. Almost every other point in the game is to facilitate these moments. All of the dialogue between action builds tension as another duel inevitably approaches. The simple story is to make you more invested in the outcome and to intimidate the player, raising the threat of failure. The game starts with a pixelated logo drop and then an animation revealing the game's title. This animation is the bullet being fired along with a gunshot sound, teasing the core of the game. If you listen closely, the wind audio starts up during this logo and title, foreshadowing the reveal of the location. The logo pulsates, which is a commonly used indicator of a need to interact. Once the player starts the game by tapping, it is established precedent that to interact with game systems, you should tap. The draw prompt appears. You cannot fail here. This is to further establish tapping as the way to interact, and to show what system the game is about. The second prompt has a 1-second limit on it. It was originally rigged as a guaranteed fail, but this way, if a player doesn't tap for 1 second, they'll feel more responsible for their failure than if they had the instant fail timer it did before. If they make it past that second draw, they reach a third draw, which is a guaranteed fail. A failure on that second or third draw takes the player to a cutscene, which is a pretend loading screen. By having the player fail, they now know that the draw prompt is on a timer. The fake loading screen serves as a punishment for failure, as the player is forced to sit in silent defeat. Also, the tooltip on the bottom is to warn the player of failure, and is worded to make it sound dangerous. Make it as far as you can, it says. But in reality, the player will most likely make it through the game on their first try. With that hidden tutorial out of the way, the player now enters the actual game knowing 1. He must tap to fire, 2. He must fire before the time is up, and 3. Failure is dangerous and will restart the game. The player is greeted by the familiar logo drop and will easily beat the first 3 draw prompts. Their experience is of conquering a challenge, but in reality, it was unbeatable the first time, and the second time it wasn't actually possible to lose. This misleading part of the game was something I was very interested to try. I don't want to violate the player's good faith, but I think the ruse helps tremendously to deliver them the experience they want. After that starting area, there's a little more story building before reaching the main stage of the game. In classic storytelling fashion, I have the main antagonist kill an animal. This makes him the most evil thing in existence. I tried to have each duel be unique. The Runt is a basic duel to start off with. The Treacherer is still early on, so it's basic too, but you can actually talk him out of it. The Planner will catch the player off guard by shooting while delivering his line, unless you call his bluff. The Assassin shoots after you hit a reply button, when you least expect it. The First Mate only shoots when you get him angry enough. And lastly, Morgan shoots after a very long and drawn-out scene that builds tension. Having seen a couple videos mentioning how flat character arcs work in storytelling, I tried to implement such an arc. The main character doesn't change his ways, but that way is tested. I attempted to give a different reason for the main character to quit at each duel. The Runt says you'll fail. The Treasurer says you have too much to live for. The Planner says you'll die to explosives. The Assassin says he'll kill other people if you continue. The First Mate tries to get you to empathize. And Morgan originally was going to try to convince you that you had no proof against him, so you're the outlaw. But I ended up going with this last duel being the point of no return, that even if you wanted to, you can't quit now, to build tension and intimidate the player. It isn't exactly perfect, but I think it helps the game. I implemented layers of music that change without stopping or starting the song, and like I've said before, music helps the game a lot. It always drops down to just bells chiming before a draw. The music stops completely when the prompt appears, making it more jarring when it shows up, and also afterwards the silence builds tension. Another thing that really makes the world feel real is to just have something moving. I timed the grasses and town sign animations to make it appear as if wind was blowing. If you ever have a scene or menu screen that needs something, try adding movement. It might just be what you're looking for. At the end, I'm happy with what I made. With it being a fun small project, it was nice not to fret over polishing it. Even if it can be called a long cutscene with QuickTime events, it's a fun long cutscene with QuickTime events. I only expected it to take me a couple days, but of course it took much longer. It was a fun month of making it, and I hope you enjoy it too.